Hello and welcome. This is BQ Prime. I am Agam Vakil, and we are discussing earnings at the moment. This is Q2 with BQ, and what we're looking at right now is Skipper. We are looking at very strong earnings coming through. In fact, on a year-on-year basis, for the consolidated performance, the revenues have risen by over 67%. Sharp improvement in its profitability as well because of that. And in terms of its operating margins, we've seen largely around the same levels. But to take this conversation forward in terms of how the quarter's gone by and what we can expect for the balance of this financial year, we are in conversation with Sharan Bansal. He's a director at Skipper Limited. Sharan, good morning and thank you, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining in. Why don't we start with your assessment of the quarter and what can we expect in terms of outlook?
Sure. Very good afternoon to you, Agam. Like you rightly said, we've had a very good quarter with 67% top line growth and a very good H1 as well with 51% top line growth. There has been margin expansion as well. We are currently at the highest order book closing position in the company ever, which is at about 6,000 crores as of 30th September, the quarter two that just ended. We are experiencing a very good, robust demand, not just in domestic markets, but in a number of countries in the international markets as well. Skipper exports to about 65 countries and is a major player in the world global transmission and distribution space. So all in all, what we are seeing is that thanks to this robust demand being driven largely by the investments into renewable power generation, we have a good bidding pipeline. Of course, apart from our strong order book right now, we have a bidding pipeline of about 12,000 crores, which will result into further orders in the quarters to come. And we are quite confident of a good revenue performance in the coming quarters as well, just the way we had in the quarter that just finished.
Okay. Right. So, Sharan, based on your current order book, which you have mentioned, and if I'm not mistaken, that's about, okay. So the new order secured in this case was 1,529 odd crores. And you have a potential pipeline which is out about 12,000 crores, and of which you are expecting to make some through the course of the year as well. The question really is, at this point in time, about 3/4 of your revenues come from, transmission, if I'm not mistaken, engineering products. That's what your presentation says. How much of that is for engineering products, and how much of that is for your other two big, segments?
Sure. Yes, you're right that about 70% of our revenue comes from engineering products, where we are a major player in the power transmission and the telecom tower space. Our order book is largely driven by the engineering space itself. So we expect that engineering product segment will continue to be the dominant segment in our business in the coming quarters as well. Though we are seeing good growth in our other two verticals as well. Our other two segments are basically polymer pipes and fittings and infrastructure services. Both those segments are going to see good growth. Our polymer pipe brand, Skipper, is a nationally recognized brand now. We recently launched our national ad campaign with MS Dhoni and Chris Gale. That is getting a fantastic response. So, in fact, for the H1 that just finished, we've had close to about a 50% growth in volume and value numbers. And we can expect similar growth in that segment in the coming quarters as well. So all in all, I think the company is quite confident on the base of the order book, on the base of the strong bidding pipeline, and the growth in our polymer segment for continued growth in the coming quarters and years.
All right. A word on the slight contraction in EBITDA margins that we've seen, not just in this quarter, but also in the first half of this financial year. What are you attributing these to, and are these recoverable? What is your expectation in terms of your EBITDA margins on an overall basis for the whole year?
Well, on the EBITDA margins, in fact, for the company-wide, we have normally been operating at about 10% across the company. And we have also delivered that close to about that number this H1 as well. So honestly, the EBITDA margins do get determined by the quality of contracts getting executed in that particular period. However, looking at the order book that the company currently enjoys, a 10% plus EBITDA across the company and approximately 12% EBITDA in our engineering product segment is what we are guiding for going forward. We're quite confident of achieving that. In terms of margin expansion, definitely looking at the strong growth prospects, looking at the fact that T&D investments are expected to almost double over the next 4 to 5 years globally. And we are getting more and more business now from developed geographies, not just the developing geographies. So definitely there is a scope, we see an opportunity for margin expansion in the years to come.
And in terms of your current order book, how much are you expecting to execute in FY24?
Typically, the order book has an execution cycle of about 2 years. So yes, out of the order book, well, at least we expect 40% to get executed in this year and the balance in the coming year.
Right. Well, we are looking at tremendous growth rates, Sharan, for Skipper Limited. Certainly in the first half, over 50%. Is this the run rate we can expect as far as the whole year is concerned? Would it be less? Would it be more? Could you give us just an idea here?
In terms of growth, we have been guiding for a 25% CAGR growth for our company for the next 3 years. We'd like to maintain that as of now. We do believe that it is very conservative and we hope to be achieving much higher than that. But the official guidance of the company will continue to be at 25% CAGR over the next 3 years.
Fair enough. Well, 25% CAGR is what we'll be watching out for. Sharan, on that note, we leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining in and taking the time out and speaking to us here at BQ Prime. We wish you the very best. Also, a happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year to you.
Same to you.
I wanted to wish all the viewers of BQ Prime and the channel a very happy festivities and a very happy Diwali. Happy investing.